Hola, te quiero presentar algunos pensamientos e ideas que he tenido y la manera como te lo quiero presentar es de una manera no tan usual, que es a través de un video. Te voy a leer algunas cosas que he escrito, que es la teoría del pensamiento, y la finalidad que estoy utilizando, o la finalidad de este escrito, es: uno, entender exactamente lo que yo pienso, y, dos, ver si realmente lo que estoy pensando tiene coherencia o no. La mejor manera para evaluar mi pensamiento es compartirlo con las personas y escuchar observaciones, ya que un autoanálisis de sí mismo suele ser no trivial, o al parecer para mí no es sencillo identificar si la manera como estoy pensando es correcta o no. Por tal razón, te presento lo que voy a continuación leer, y espero que me entiendas, porque mi inglés es pésimo. Sin embargo, bueno, te lo voy a pasar también para que tú lo cheques. Lo escribí primero en el iPad. Te puedo describir rápidamente qué es lo que contiene lo que estoy haciendo, que es simplemente voy a dar una introducción, un abstract acerca de la razón por la cual es necesario pensar en este contexto, y además se tiene el problema de que hay varios problemas abiertos en la física, y lo que yo pretendo hacer es tratar de darle otro enfoque a los problemas, u otra metodología para conectar la teoría con el experimento. Bueno, entonces voy a comenzar. Theory of Thinking by Ruslan Magana Vsevolodovna. Abstract. I want to present a method of thinking to formulate and solve problems. The main purpose of this essay is give a method to develop theories and abort problems in the human thinking or problems in physics. Like an example to this essay, I want to develop the method to describe in physics one physical system. Also, I want to suggest some tips to reduce the complexity of the problems. Introduction. In order to do science, usually scientists want to give new knowledge, present new discoveries, or show new points of view of one specific problem. Along years, usually one scientist got knowledge to do research. However, there is not established a method to do research. However, there are strategies which decrease the complexity of the problem and makes easy find the solution of the problem. Here, I want to show one strategy of thinking which could be used to solve one specific problem. Chapter 2, or Theory of Thinking. When we're interested to describe or know the past or the future of something, for example, the energies of one quantum system, we start assuming some postulates of the theory, and we assume the interactions of the system written in the Hamiltonian of the system. Another example could be the behavior of one beautiful girl over a man. We assume that this girl loves him. In the first example, when we assume every information about the system inside the Hamiltonian and therefore solving the Schrödinger equation, it is possible to determine some properties of the system. Here the problem of thinking is that I am seeing that we assume one Hamiltonian and their interactions like ab initio. The problem of this manner of thinking is that how the Hamiltonian is that we have to use it. Usually we develop one specific Hamiltonian and we study the potential and the end we verify the results of the analysis with experimental data and sometimes fits so well. The trouble that I'm seeing is that the general form of the potential makes hard the problem or impossible to solve. In the second example, we assume that this girl loves this man and we assume some behaviors with him that sometimes could be right and sometimes is totally wrong. Actually, who knows who or how much she loves him? Chapter 3. Theoretical approach of thinking. Here I suggest do not start assuming some postulates that currently we don't know. It is really true or no. Instead of assume Hamiltonians for the system, let's do something more elemental. Let's determine the Hamiltonian analytically. For the second example, instead of assume the personality of the girl, why not determine the personality of the girl first and then determine who loves her? Next part, making everything easy. Here, for all the problems of the human thinking, I propose start from one clear idea. Here the battle of getting knowledge is not versus the scientific community or human beings. Here we are fighting with the reality. The more easy is the idea, the more strong is your idea. If you want to challenge the reality superior of us at this moment. Therefore, we need special tools to fight against it. I propose use one clear idea and not two. The more ideas you have, the ideas becomes more weak. The more clear your idea is, the idea strong is. You can imagine that you are in the battle of the knowledge. The knowledge is there, the reality is there, and you are alone. You can take your main idea strongly as much you can and fight against the huge, infinite monster of the reality and knowledge and pursue what you want and write down what you want. Therefore, when you have one idea, you almost are invulnerable against the knowledge. You can obtain more information easy. How you must think. This is chapter 4. I will show two examples of kind of scientists, which are the great scientist in bad mood and the great scientist in good mood. You can ask one problem to the scientist, the good one, and he can answer immediately. I notice that this kind of people has at least everything clear because they, in addition to have a huge amount of knowledge, they always maintain the clear mind, and therefore they can solve almost everything immediately. This guy in good mood because their mind is not frustrated tired of thinking. I want to remark this is my hypothesis. When you have a lot of ideas and someone asks if you are great, you can solve the problem also immediately. But the difference is that you are forcing yourself and therefore you become tired or uncomfortable. Hence, you have bad mood, and this case belongs to the bad one scientist. Chapter 5. Never force yourself. When you are not forcing yourself, it's easier to solve problems and you are not constrained to make new knowledge. In the opposite case, when you are full of ideas and you want to solve something, you can get tired, frustrated, be in bad mood, or actually be blocked and not solve anything. This is common for students and scientists. Let me give an analogy of this fact. When you have one notebook full of formulas and you want to write down something new inside it, you cannot write more or your equations became not clear to follow. Therefore, the process to make new knowledge becomes complicated. Therefore, if we have some extra white page, it's easy formulate the solution of the problem and even feel comfortable writing new knowledge. Another analogy is the cup and the coffee. If you have a cup full of coffee, you cannot add more coffee in your cup, and when you do it, the coffee is out of the cup and it's illogical. I want to remark, if you have a clear mind, you can work better, but I am not saying to have an empty mind. You have to keep in mind what you want and follow one idea and do it. When you finish to develop this idea, you can continue with another idea and so on. Now let's return back with the idea of the girl and the man. We can at the beginning study the behavior of the girl and know exactly some properties which she has. Therefore, we know what she likes and it's easy infer what she likes and know if she really loves this man or no. This idea also could be applied in physics. Before assuming the interactions in the Hamiltonian, why not first determine the behavior of the Hamiltonian in the nature, scanning the laws of the physics which are involved in the problem? Do the effort to write laws of physics in algebraic formulation using symmetries and hence reproduce better the Hamiltonian which is involved in the system. In this way, we are trying to reduce the types of interactions which must maintain the system and study with more depth the behavior of the system. Note in quotations. Superpositions of ideas makes unclear the purpose of the idea and hard to pursue new knowledge. Ideas has not the behavior of the bosons, and an idea could be associated with a fermion in sense that they prefer not be in the same state. Chapter 6 and conclusion. It was presented a manner of thinking which to me becomes easy solve problems. I am not saying that this is the best method to think among the human beings. This is just my hypothesis about the best manner of thinking. It's very important, before start whatever problem, how to start and infer the best method to solve it. Here it was presented some problems which is involved the human thinking. The many body problem in quantum physics is one what is interesting to study. Also, infer the behavior of the people is interesting. The manner of thinking plays an important role to solve problems and save time if you are human. The universe is here and it's time to know that and describe it and deduce how it works. The universe is the solution of one problem, and this is we are interested to pursue the problem and show it. Algebraic approaches could be used to write down the basic framework of the problem. Math in general could be a great tool to approach this challenge to describe how it works in nature. At the moment, there are not proof of impossibility to describe the universe. Therefore, it is suggested follow some strategies to make easy solve this problem. Notes and acknowledge. I want to thank my grandmother Galia Vasilievna Shevela for the comments about do not close my mind only in physics and open the mind in all branches of knowledge. Also, let me thank to Octavio Novaro, who helped me to understand that nature could be described by the science, and Alfonso Mondragon, who helped me to know a good manner of thinking, which is have a clear idea. Let me thank to Antonio González Guzmán, Ami Leviathan, Peter Van Isacker, and Alejandro Frank for comments about be sure to do something and do not be afraid of mathematics. Also, I have to thank to my mentor Rudolf Baker, who opened the doors to me to know the existence of scientists around the world and the manner to organize ideas. Recently, I met Maria Clara Nussi, and she helped me to summarize ideas like avoid live inside the box of science and skip constraints in the mind. She suggested do science. Try to follow the ideas of Galileo. I will conclude with the phrase: the best manifestation of the life is an idea. August 10, 2013, Mexico City.